Hello guys and welcome to the second part of What If Izuku or Deku had the 10 tails. And like I said, this is the part when things go off. This is when I'm introduced chakra to the whole world, so have fun with it. Just listen and just calm down to my relaxing voice. Also, just be on the lookout for me like introducing crazy stuff like new abilities. Don't get too surprised because I'm gonna be a little bit crazy by the end. But yeah, just enjoy yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell to stay updated on all of my videos and future ones coming out. And without any further ado, let's begin with the recap. The last part introduced Izuku as the son of the strongest hero named Biju, who later passed on his quirk and his power to his son, while also letting him know that his quirk technically isn't a quirk. He learns of the tail beast and gains powers, but his father soon dies, much like his mother who died before. Quickly, Izuku gets strong to be a good hero as he masters the powers his father had developed on his own, and he does not go to the entrance exams because he was given the option not to because he was recommended. So he simply trained and trained because he was trying to get strong. He was going to end up in 1A anyway, so why not? When he arrived, he made quite the entrance as everyone already knows who he is, but they also get along very well, not just because he's the son of a hero. They have the apprehension exam, they all get to stay, but before that, Todoroki showed clearly that he held a grudge towards Izuku. So the next day, Izuku and he are paired up to fight, and he would attack with everything, only to be beaten very quickly by Izuku. Izuku and Naraka would then take care of Shoji, allowing them to win, and the day after, everyone goes to the USJ. Villains would attack despite the higher security, and Aizawa would be captured by a Nomu while Kirigiri tries to spread out the kids by teleporting them to different places, but Izuku would capture him and go after Aizawa while One Night attacks. And Izuku shows some new moves, such as Magna Release and things like that. The ambulance will then soon arrive after everything is taken care of, and Izuku keeps away the press as news will then spread of all of this. Then came the UA Sports Festival, and during the obstacle race, which Izuku easily finished with his power of flight, he also used the Biju Bomb to bust up some zero-pointers. And after arriving at the end, he would wait for everyone, and they would soon come out. By then, everyone is on guard about him and all his powers and all of that, and as everything is declared to be finished, the next test is prepared, as Izuku was then told about the cavalry battle and that he had 10 million points. Just as he heard all this, all attention was on him, and Izuku would walk out of the crowd of students as all eyes would of course again be on him. He's being looked at a lot, making everyone wonder what he was going to do because he was just walking out to nowhere. He soon then came to a stop and made a hand sign. Kage Bunshin no Jitsu. 4 poofs would then occur around him as when they clear it would show clones of himself. The hell, yells Bakugo? Holy Midoriya showed another quirk. Clones! He can make clones, said President Mike. The stadium would be full of murmuring as Zuko then looks to Midnight. I would like to make them my teammates. There's nothing in the rules that says you can't, so sure, said Midnight. As the clones would then laugh and high-five each other, while everyone would just be looking at Izuku like they were seeing something impossible. So, get on with the explanation, said Izuku. Midnight would then clear her throat and apologize as she begins to explain the rules, and when she was done, teams would begin to be made, while Izuku would go out of the stage and he would tie on his headband around his head, and he would jump atop the formation of clones. As he would, Midnight would then walk to him. How is this possible? It's another quirk you didn't inform us about. Do you want me to tell you what me and my dad actually have, said Izuku. Midnight is of course interested and nods, and Izuku would then jump down as he tells her to close her eyes. She would do so despite being weirded out, and Izuku would then tap her stomach as he says to imagine a pool of water in the pit of her stomach, and imagine her veins just spreading all this water throughout her body. Well, why are you telling me? Whoa. She would then start to ooze chakra, and quickly cameras would come to focus on this, and the memory just gets even more worse, and they start to wonder what's going on before the energy then fades, and Izuku would then say, humans are repressed in terms of power because they forgot how to use chakra. Chakra? I thought it was just, nope, it's literally in everyone. Me and my father just harnessed it better. That's all, said Izuku as he then jumps back onto the clone formation and simply gives Midnight a smile. She would then nervously smile back as she would then begin to go back while pulling out her phone. That's right. Spread the word, Miss Midnight, thought Izuku. Time then passed and teams were finished being made as President Mike would then yell to start. Quickly they all rush into the stage as Izuku's team would instantly be blitzed by an ice attack, but holding out its arms, one of his clones would use boil release, and this would melt Todoroki's attack before it even reaches them. Another new element, said Momo, before the clone would then palm strike the air, and the heat and steam would then be blown towards them and send them flying, as well as many other teams. Get up fast, said Todoroki, as Izuku's clones meanwhile would all make hand signs and then hold their hands out. One would then have a hand bursting with blue and black flames, this is Matatabi, one would gather sand from all around the stage, and one would release a bunch of water. This isn't really, yeah, just think of this as Isobu, yeah. Man, this kid is just too much. Biju had 3 quirks max, and he already is this amazing, just wow. At this point, they all stopped being surprised though and just enjoyed the craziness. Along with being able to walk on any surface, he saw she had the Biju Bomb and flight, but he never really showed any other abilities with chakra, so everyone is unaware of the many things he could actually do. But the fact that he never had to go all out shows how strong Izuku's father actually is. Now, as Monoma's team approaches Izuku, he would then tell him to stop, saying, "Yeah, let's not die today. I can feel that flame from over here. Retreat." Izuku would then turn and see him going away before then looking back around, keeping his guard up, but no one came to him and he sighed. "This is why I have to release the truth about chakra." As the test continues, everyone stays away from Izuku, letting him keep the headband, and they all regather again after everything is done, as the one-on-ones are chosen, which is exactly what Bakugo's been waiting for. However, a break is then taken as they are told to go eat, and the spectators are free to leave and get some snacks, and just talk about how crazy everything was. As Izuku heads to the canteen with his class, they will be shocked at everything. "What else can you do? What have you been hiding out on? And what happened with Midnight? She used chakra?" "I'll tell you about it later," said Izuku, making them one as he says that he needs to get at least energized, again. So they go in and get some food, but Todoroki would find Izuku and bring him to talk in the tunnel. "You already know why I called you here, so I'll get to it. I'm gonna beat you, but I don't hate you. You hate Endeavor for putting his ideals on you. Dad did say your dad was kind of a said Izuku. "Yeah, that's an understatement. If it wasn't you I was fighting, I would never use my fire side, but I'm not stupid. I know my limits. Do you want to hear my story?" Izuku would then smile, saying sure, as Todoroki would then recount his backstory, and when he is done, Izuku definitely feels bad for him, but says, If you only came here to beat me, then you should just give up." Todoroki would then be left reminded of the words of All Might as he asks why he's saying this, and this is when Izuku would get a call, as he would then say, "If you don't have goals, you won't be a hero, you'll just be a lifeless doll." He turns and takes the call as he's leaving, and he says, "Can we talk about this later?" "Yes, I'll come see you right after this." We then have a small time skip as everyone then eats and is put up against an enemy, and it is just Shinso's luck because he's paired up with Izuku. "I swear to God, the world is against me," thought Shinso, as he looks to Izuku, but Izuku would just simply smile and slightly bow to him, and Shinso would nervously do the same thing, thinking he was going to get demolished. Now it will begin with the first match, which is Izuku and Shinso. After Cementos finishes the stage, they are all called out, the two are called out, and they step out and are introduced by President Mike. First off, we have Izuku Midoriya from Class 1A, the son of a lovable hero Biju, may he rest in peace, but I think that he'd be real proud to see what a monster of a fighter his little boy has become. "I swear Dad told him to do this just to mess with me," thought Izuku. And we have Shinso. Honestly, I'm surprised he made it this far, but let's hope that he can at least put up a big fight. "And begin," said President Mike. The crowd would then get ready for everything to begin, as Izuku would then sigh, saying, "Don't mind Uncle President, he's always like that." "He's your uncle?" "Well, then not really, but I call all heroes that because my dad knew many of them." "Alright, let's begin." In the blink of an eye, he appears in front of Shinso, who is confused as to why Izuku didn't freeze, just as his punch that comes to a stop at his face, and a shockwave would blow back a strong wind past Shinso and reach others in the stadium. "Why didn't you dodge?" said Izuku, as Shinso would then back away, saying not to mess with him. Izuku, however, starts to analyze him, as he soon thought that his quirk is actually pretty similar to that of the Yamanaka clan, just a little bit tweaked. And it made him smile. "Find me after all this, I'll train you," he said, as he then summons his staff, and extending it, he would hit him out of the ring by a hit to the stomach. As he crashes, Izuku then starts to leave while he is announced as the winner, but no one is surprised. They just wonder what Shinso's quirk was. And as President Mike says what his quirk is, heroes actually find it very useful. It's a good way to beat villains, it's pretty useful. But Izuku and his father have always shown signs of not being able to be affected by mind-related powers. It's just a thing that Shinso didn't know about until now. As Shinso walks back, he would then be met by many cheers of his friends, who congratulate him, and this brings a big smile to his face. But then he looked to Izuku, who turns to him and points to the tunnel, signaling him to meet him. An opportunity to work with him? I might be blessed instead. He would then run in while the other matches began, and he and Izuku met up and talked about going to his house, having him train, because Izuku says that he has potential. And after all this, Kaminari then went out to fight Shiozaki and lost very fast. It was almost comical, but this is when Izuku steps in as Kaminari is walking down the hallway, and Kaminari would then see him. "Oh, hey Midoriya." Pretty embarrassing, right? "Yeah, but you could be better." "I'm gonna help." "Did you have lightning too?" "Actually, yeah. I was thinking of making a training camp at my place." This would make Kaminari grin, as he says that he's definitely coming, and Izuku says good, and they should go tell the others. They go and do so, and everyone will be very excited to get together, and this also hypes up Uraken when she fights Bakugo eventually. She does lose, but she also has a bit of hope, because if Izuku teaches her, then the chances of, her becoming a good hero will increase. Time then eventually came for Izuku and Todoroki's match, and as they get onto the stage, Izuku would then clap his hands together and would explode with blue flames that begin to melt the stage around him. "Ooh, it seems Midoriya wants to be sure to at his own game," said President Mike. As Endeavor watches this, he clenches onto the rail as he be seething with anger. It's always him. He's always there. Now he has flames too. His own flames begin to rise to the thought of Biju, not Izuku, just as the match is then told to begin, and Izuku points forward as a flame claw would then instantly attack. Todoroki doesn't even try to use his ice and dodges as he would then look back, and he saw the floor was melted through, and then he gets a punch slam in the stomach. "Never look away from your enemy, Shoto," said Izuku, before then summoning another fire punch into his jaw. He's holding back, but God, that burns, thought Todoroki. He, however, would then explode with the ice as Izuku would then jump back, avoiding it, before then opening his mouth and releasing a Biju bomb that blows it all away, before he would then let his flames die down, and he would attack Todoroki, who have to block, but he feels that Izuku has lessened up his strength. He would then parry with a palm strike or releasing a blast of ice, but Izuku dodges and throws a punch to his stomach again that Todoroki would then be hit by before then throwing another wave, before then throwing a wave of flames for the first time in the fight. Izuku dodges again and punches him. "Why aren't you going all out?" asked Todoroki. "Why are you smiling?" asked Izuku, as Todoroki didn't even realize that he was smiling, and with the stripe he creates a giant iceberg, and it would be the same one that he used against Zero. It reached the crowd, but then it would shatter. It would be shattered by Izuku, just as he would then be punched again and again. However, he doesn't stop fighting back, as Izuku says, "I want you to get used to it again. How fun it is to be a hero, how it feels to climb, even when it's hard." Midoriya is not trying to fight him, he's trying to help him, thought Ida. As the two go back and forth, Todoroki's smile grows and grows until he would then burst with chakra, which everyone notices and becomes very interested in and also confused in. It's just like what happened to Miss Midnight. What's going on? Izuku would then jump back as this happens, so Todoroki then asking, "What is this?" "Gather it," yells Izuku, as Todoroki would then be stunted, but Izuku once again yells for him to gather his energy to his hands, and Todoroki would then copy something that Izuku usually always does, which is just clasping his hands, and as he does so, out of nowhere, ice mirrors would then form behind him, as well as a giant flame just made of a giant dragon made of flames. "Shoto, how is he doing that?" thought Endeavor. The crowd would roar, being excited at what is happening, and Todoroki would then ask if he did this to him, and Izuku would then say yes, before then bursting with blue flames. "Now, come at me." Todoroki's smile would then grow even more as he swipes forward, and his mirrors will release massive compressed icicles, while his flame dragon attacks, with Izuku then swiping up, and as the two attacks would clash, a massive shockwave would then blend everyone, as the stage would explode and melt. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what's going on, but I think Todoroki went plus ultra beyond. This is incredible, said President Mike. The blinding wind and light would then soon come to a stop, and everyone wipes their eyes to see Todoroki swaying back and forth still in the ring, but his clothes were ruined, and Izuku would be fine as he approached him and said that he did good. Todoroki would then begin to fall as Izuku catches him, but there's nothing but silence as Midnight would then run to the stage while avoiding the melted parts before then checking on him. She would then signal that he was out cold, making Izuku the winner, and everyone begins to clap at this incredible display. But one thing that is all that's on their minds is what Izuku do. Like, what did he do to him? How did he transfer his quirk to Todoroki? And why did his control over his own quirk become so much stronger? As Todoroki is taken away, Midnight would then give Izuku a mic to explain this, and he says, "Don't worry, very soon you'll be able to do what he just did." That is all. He hands the mic back to Midnight, who walks off as he hands the mic back to Midnight, and he walks off as Yamada, aka President Mike, and Aizawa look to each other as Yamada would then say, "Remember when Biju said that one day his son would do something insane?" "Yeah, I think it's starting now," said Aizawa. When Izuku goes back to the stands, instantly all of 1A gathers around as Mineta would then say, "I changed my mind. I'm definitely coming for training." Good to know, but just calm down, guys. Let's finish the tournament first. "Will you be coming, Bakugo?" Everyone then clears way for Izuku to see him, and he would then scoff but say nothing else. "See, this is why you won't be popular," says Sue. Bakugo then says to shut up. The surrounding classes now feel, though, that a gap has been created between their classes even more, and it keeps widening and widening. But first off, let's continue with the fight before we get into the, inferiority complexes. Anyway, Bakugo fights Tokuyama and wins, Izuku fights Ida and wins, and this means that the two are paired up for the final battle, and people are rallying up to see if Izuku will give Bakugo chakra as well. And as I step into the ring, Bakugo will be warming up his hands and getting ready to attack. "I don't want your help. I wasn't planning on it. I'm not petty, but honestly," says Izuku, "I don't like you." As soon as they begin, and as soon as President Mike begin, instantly Bakugo finds Izuku in front of him as he would a powerful punch in his stomach. But Bakugo would attack despite being in pain, as the explosion is then blown away to show Izuku in his tensile state, and he would then be grabbed by the collar and punched in the face, and then Izuku does it again and again. Bakugo would then hold his hand and blast Izuku on the ribs, and this lessens his grip, allowing Bakugo to hit him with AP shots that blow away the smoke, only to see that Izuku was smacking away these attacks constantly. "So, would you like to come to my training camp?" asked Izuku. "Hell no, screw you," said Bakugo, as he would now start to just throw bigger explosions and even more powerful explosions, but soon Izuku would just run forward, and with an upward swipe, he then releases a wave of wind that hits and blows away Bakugo out the stage, as he would then hit and slam into the stadium walls. "Crap, wind too," thought Bakugo, as he would then stop himself from falling to the ground with explosions, and Izuku is then declared the winner. And that is it, folks. I'm sure none of you will ever forget this day. I know I won't, said President Mike. "Good job, Bakugo. You held up pretty good there," the crowd be saying. The cheers would then keep coming in as Izuku would then walk off the stage, waving goodbye, while Bakugo would then come to fall behind him while raging, and Izuku would then smirk, saying, "You're coming, aren't you?" "Of course I am, but don't blame me when I destroy you later." "Yeah, that's never gonna happen," said Izuku. With this, the festival comes to an end, and it was crazy after because reporters wanted to ask Izuku about a lot of things. What did his message mean? What was that whole thing with chakra? Luckily, the heroes were able to keep him safe and everyone else safe, and everyone gets on the bus. But on the way back, they were all talking about how amazing all of this was. Shoto, how do you feel? Asked Momo. Shoto would then say he hasn't been able to release chakra since that one time, but he definitely feels different. You need training. I had to force it out of you with that first punch, remember? But don't worry, you'll be back to that strength. At the front of the bus, as they talk, Aizawa would then feel as if a prophecy was being fulfilled, and because Izuku just showed so many that he has so many powers, well, they would have to up security. And the bus driver would then say, "So, Biju-san, huh? Didn't expect that back there." Yeah, it was definitely surprising, said Aizawa. It's like a new age is coming in, right? It's kind of amazing, said the driver. As he laughs, and Aizawa would definitely agree. He could not agree more. So when 1A goes back to class, they are allowed to take a day off, and so before they go home, Izuku sends everyone his address so they can come and train. And the next day, we find Izuku in the forest as he'd be fighting some clones, hand-to-hand combat. As he is, however, he senses a presence just as Shinso would then walk out, and the 5 clones would freeze, waving hello as Shinso would then nervously wave back. Yeah, that's still weird. Izuku would then make the clones poof as he sensed that he would get used to it. So, you ready? Yeah, I guess. What do I do? Izuku tells him to sit down, and as he does, he would then come behind him and he would make some hand signs before he then lights his fingers ablaze, and then he would jam them into Shinso's back, as instantly his chakra channels would then, the ones that have been naturally locked for years due to some, mutation and evolution, they would naturally reopen. He has a feeling of euphoria overtake him, just as Izuku would then take his hand off and walk in front of him. Shinso would then stand and start to release chakra more naturally. This is insane. Yeah, I'm well aware, but I'm gonna teach you. Whatever I can, I guess. Oh, the others are here. Looking back, Shinso would then see the 1A class run over with some gym bags in hand, they're like ready to work out or whatever, and Shinso would then be bursting with chakra, and they get very excited at seeing this because they all want to unlock this too. He's releasing it much more naturally, said Todoroki, and soon you'll be able to do it as well, my bad. Oh, and welcome to my house. Hey, Bakugo. That explosion boy would then look away as everyone would then tease him, and Kaminari would then ask, I thought you weren't coming. I would never fall back behind you idiots because I'm angry. Got it? Okay, calm down, said Kaminari. Alright then, let's begin, said Izuku. That day, every single one of them had their chakra pass unlocked, but they had to learn how to suppress and release it at will. Now that they actually had chakra to begin with, they just had to get used to it a little bit. The ones who got it done pretty quickly would be the likes of Momo, though, because she was smart. She's like a parallel to Sakura, but she at least has, freaking personality. And she proceeds to show everyone else how they could do it better. But that doesn't mean that she's like a genius. She can do like, no. I'm not giving anyone special privileges. They haven't used chakra in literal millennia. Like nah. She just does it better than some of them. But after all of this, as they're doing all of this, the Hero Association pays a visit to Nezu and discuss Izuku spreading this chakra to everyone at UA, not just like the hero course, but just everyone, because they can tell the boy showed everyone that what he can do on purpose. Izuku says he will ask him, and that is also the day when the quick apprehension tools are released to all Japan. Sorry about pausing. They are given to the police officers, and it's also spread to show the credit that Izuku deserves, because he did create them. And also the video of him giving Todoroki chakra girls, and Todoroki of course does go visit his mother, having gotten over a bit of his hate, and he just feels a bit more at peace. But when he comes back to class, Izuku is called to Nezu's office. You're really gonna do it? Asked the principal. Yeah, that was my goal from the beginning, said Izuku. That's wonderful, honestly. I'm still amazed to think that, we could share a quirk like this. Actually, do you want to know a secret? Chakra exists in every single person, not just me. This takes Nezu by surprise. Izuku would then stand to leave, and Nezu would then ask how he's so sure and what all this means, but Izuku simply says, it'll all be explained soon, sir. He closes the door behind and starts walking back as he smiles. Alright, the first step's been taken. Can't back out now. He soon reaches his class and enters as Uraka would then say, hey, guess what? We're gonna work with heroes next. Sitting down, Izuku would then say that Principal Nezu told him, and then he would then come to see the nomination on the board, and he would have 10,000. Which left him baffled as he would show a face of shock. I think this is the first time something has ever taken you by surprise, said Ida. Of course it does, just how? Mineta would then tap him on the shoulder saying, it'll get better. You're seeing like it's a bad thing, said Sato. Well, people won't stop hassling him for sure. Everybody's shown, said Mineta. As I would then say about that, could I know what you all learned during your training? Bakugo at this point that smart because he would explode with chakra, and thinking he was showing off, everyone would do the same to show that they aren't falling behind, and Aizawa would be taken back by how much power they're releasing. Then he tells them to pull it back, and they do just by relaxing their bodies a little bit, and he would say, this is really going to take some getting used to. Yeah, apparently now I have to teach everyone in school about this. Well, the ones who want to know, said Izuku. So we're going to get more rivals, said Kirishima. Bakugo then says to bring it on though, and everyone agrees, but Izuku also notices something a little different about one of them, about Ida. It was overwhelming hate, and being the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails, sensing emotions is a passive ability he just has, so he keeps an eye out because he acting sus. Midnight would then come in and everyone chooses their name, as Izuku of course takes the mantle of Biju, which no one was surprised by, but it felt so good to have another Biju again, and the best part this time that it was, was their classmates, so awesome. Now we will have a huge time skip. Though every hero wanted Izuku, he was exempt from the internships actually, and many students would gather at the TDL in their gym uniforms and they had their chakra unlocked as well, and I mean like all of them. They had it unlocked. Yamato, the president of the Hero Association, they comes to give a speech. As members fills the room, everyone is just like wondering about what's going on when the screeching of a microphone would then calm everyone down. I'm well aware you must be very confused, worried, but do not worry. We have found research that this ability to release this power called chakra is something actually innate inside everybody, and Izuku Midoriya is just the one who can unlock that potential. Seriously, that's awesome. That means you're gonna be even stronger than like that fire and ice kid in the video. Yes, your abilities will grow, but aside from 1A, you were one of the first to experience this awakening in all of Japan, so we'll have to be very careful. Villains will want to get a hold of students like you, so effective immediately you'll be put in the dorm system. To have you protected, you will stay at UA and given rooms and daily necessities. This is really amazing to the kids, but of course they're gonna have to tell their parents, and Nezu would then step up saying that they will have to be visited by a teacher who would discuss this with their guardians, and he says you don't need to come with us, but it'd be appreciated. Consider it like going to college but without the fees. Alright, that is all. Midoriya, would you like to say anything? Izuku would then nod and come to the podium as everyone would then wonder what he was gonna say. Would he be arrogant? Would he be nice? But Izuku would then say, I'll always be here if you're confused about how to use this power and how it may be affecting you. As the one who has unlocked your potential, I'm responsible for how you learn to use it. Don't hesitate. The moment we all come together at UA, I'm not just the son of a hero, I'm just a student who wants to help. Also, he would then make many shadow clones and they would all come into existence and bow, with Izuku then saying, I have these guys, so don't worry about bothering me, alright? Alright? They would then all cheer, saying this does sound pretty awesome, and they feel great to be part of such a big event. Even All Might was present, so it felt more official, and that day, everything would change in Japan. While students were still going to their internships, when they returned, they had teachers visit them, and because Izuku was busy working with teachers on teaching chakra and teaching how to teach chakra, he didn't go to Hosu, but he sent out a clone which stopped the no moves and also beat Stain, which he did get credit for. Ida would now be better, and despite Tensei being hurt, he and Ida have started to talk more, and yeah, he's trying to calm down and make better choices. A week has passed by this point, and we then find 1A and 1B in the TDL as they will be doing their training. One thing, walk up some walls. We find Momo running up a pillar when beside her would then be Sui, who comes to pass her. Hi Momo. With their grunt, Momo would then take one more step and begin to fall, and Sui would as well, as with many others, but they are caught by Izuku clones or some cast themselves. For this, the class wasn't split up though. They were all on one side of the room as Cementos erected many platforms for them to walk on up on, and Izuku and All Might would be walking past everyone giving them some advice, and Izuku would then say, remember, don't rush, your chakra needs to sink into it, so you can't waver. Don't tell me what to do, said Bakugo, as he ran up and reached about 3 yards, and everyone would then watch this and get motivated, and as he begins to fall, he would then scratch the wall with the dagger they were given to mark the process, and as he would fall, he catches himself with explosions, before then coming to one knee. Yeah, how you like me now? As Momo comes to land, he would then say Bakugo shouldn't be so arrogant, and he says, look. He points up, and Bakugo would then look to see Kendo, who would go past his record easily, which makes him mad, and he quickly gets up and starts to burst the chakra, before he then focusing it all into his legs, and then foot. And he would then run up again while everyone fell, and Izuku and All Might would then walk to Nezu. This is really coming along, huh, said the principal. Then what about the end of term test? Shouldn't the test be switched up? Of course, it's just a suggestion, said Izuku. Oh, don't worry about it, Midoriya. You're akin to a pseudo-teacher in a way, said All Might. Nezu agrees, saying that the test should be more focused on them surpassing their limits than what they were planning. Are they ready to move on to the next phase, he asked. Izuku would then look around, saying, some are. Todoroki already experienced it once, so he might be able to do it very easily. I give it a minimum of 1 month. It should be just in time for the test. Perfect, said Nezu. The others then continue their training until about 1 hour passes, and the two classes end up leaving completely exhausted, and they be helping each other walk, and Izuku follows them out to the door as he would then stand before them. Good job, guys. Soon you'll be able to do what Todoroki did. Some of you might do it sooner. If you do, I'll teach you this. Making a hand sign, he would then poof, and a law would take his place, with everyone becoming surprised, and as they look around, they would then hear his voice from above and look up to see him upside down on the ceiling. Substitution technique. Just what did your dad teach you, says Shishida. Honestly, A lot, said Izuku, as he then lands down and says that now they should go shower, and quickly they head off, and they use all the energy remaining to just return and, go and relax, and some just lay in their tubs because they were just too tired to stand, like, screw this. After they're done, instantly they then go to sleep, and the next day everyone goes to their regular classes. However, after classes, the upperclassmen of 1A and 1B were supposed to train, but teachers were also getting ready to teach them about, chakra in general, yeah. But teachers aren't really, they haven't gotten their chakra yet, but they're already ahead of the students, so they're giving them time to just get stronger, and then they can catch up later. Anyway, in class 1A, Isaiah will then say, now, summer vacation is coming, and we can't just let you laze around for months, so you'll be heading to the summer camp at the Forest Lodge. Yes! Plain truth there, said Mina. Bathhouses, yells Mineta. Fireworks, Yu says. Sounds really fun. But if none of you pass the end of term test, you won't be going anywhere, said Aizawa. Then let's do our best, right guys, said Kirishima, and they will agree to study. However, cut to the last week of June, and we find Kaminari sitting with Kirishima and Bakugo as he would then yell, I can't believe I forgot to study! You idiot, it's just picking up a book, said Bakugo. And since when did you become a genius, asked Kaminari, and Bakugo then says he doesn't have to be a genius to be better than him. This is when someone then runs past them, running to Izuku at his table, and Bakugo then watches as he asks for some tips, and Izuku would help him out, and Kirishima and Kaminari then turn to see this as well. Midora is really like a teacher now, said Kaminari. What do you think we're going to be able to do when we understand everything? I want to learn how to do the substitution thing, but my powers are going to develop really weird, right? It's probably just going to give you more control. That half and half bastard condense those flames to a way higher level. Same with his ice. He has a name, said Kirishima. Lunch then continues, as soon everyone will then go back, but as Izuku is going back with Ida and Uraraka, he hears someone tells him to stop, and he would then look to see Mira running up, and he would then say, hey, can I ask for some help? Of course, guys, I'll join you later. With a nod, they would then go ahead, as Mira would then ask how he can keep the chakra flow consistent, even with him taking his foot off before he plants it again and runs and stuff like that. And Izuku would then say not to think about the specifics too much, and to just jab the chakra in. Imagine if you had blades below your legs coming out, and they dig in, and then the anchors would spread out of it. I know this is a weird metaphor, said Izuku. No, I get what you're trying to say. Oh, I'm Mira, by the way. Mira Togata. Oh, Uncle All Might's potential successor. Mira was surprised, as when Izuku then turned and leaves, he would then wave goodbye in a daze, so All Might told him. It's a good choice, he thought. We will now go to Ujiko, as he'd be sitting in his lab across from All For One, as he'd say, this chakra energy, it's incredible. If we can just get our hands on it, then we'd be able to mold it to our own design. At the level I am, I can't take care of him. The next step would be assassination, but he is Biju's son, said All For One. I have something for that. I heard these kids are heading to a certain forest. I made a new Nomu, a few of them that I would like to try out. Feel free to. We can't keep falling behind the youngsters now, can we? Said All For One. With the last week of June coming to an end, the students would come together and study, while some would be able to effortlessly not only walk on walls, but on water and any surface, just like Biju had been able to. So when the day of the term test does come, Nezu would then change the test to suit everyone's progress. They take the written exams and then come out to meet their teachers, and Nezu would then say, so, we've changed a few things. First off, you will be fighting us, but we will need you to showcase a rise in ability, or you will not pass. So even if we lose, we will have to show promise, and then we'd win, said Tokoyami. Exactly. Now Momo and Todoroki, you're with me, said Aizawa. Steve and Tokoyami, you'll be with me, said Ectoplasm. All would then come up and grab onto Izuku and Bakugo's shoulders, saying that he'll be coming after them, they'll be coming with him, and Bakugo would then grow a huge grin, with Izuku then saying, I hope you brought your A game. Of course, I just gotta be amazing. I got this. Other students were then picked out and driven to their exam site by the teachers they would soon face. As Izuku and Bakugo walked to their site, Bakugo would naturally flow out his chakra as he readied himself while looking around. Everything would be quiet, with their footsteps being the only thing that were being heard, when out of nowhere, a shockwave would then blow past them, taking down many buildings. Meanwhile, All Might would then appear right in front of them, and clapping his hands together, Bakugo would then gather all the chakra to his right hand. All Might becomes wide-eyed as he detonated his sweat. Bakugo detonated his sweat, but he would then turn and condense it into a sphere, a powerful sphere, which would then slam into the hero's stomach. All Might would feel a huge impact as he'd be blown into the air, and Izuku would smile just as Bakugo would then begin to breathe heavily. See that? I win. All Might would then come to land right as Izuku would then appear before him and throw down an axe kick while he envelops it with a sort of bubble. This is the power of Saiken, if I'm not wrong, and it would explode on impact, and All Might is forced to his knees, just as the recovery girl would then say that the two passed. Bakugo already did it, thought Tokoyami, as he and Sue would be running from ectoplasm clones. But he is then sneak attacked from the side as he would sway back, with Sue then turning to see him release Dark Shadow while he claps his hands together. And as Dark Shadow attacks and he hits the clone, he actually doesn't hurt the clone. It would seep into the clone, and it would instantly mirror Tokoyami's actions, surprising the clones, the real Ecto, and Tsuyu. He's trapped, said Tokoyami, as he begins to just move about, and the clone would copy him until it bursts due to chakra overload, and Dark Shadow would then retract, regaining his normal form, but he's also confused. Suyu would then tell him to watch out at this point, as the clones would then attack from behind, and Tokuyami would then run forward, as Suyu would then throw out her tongue while clapping her hands together, and she hopes for something while she focuses. Just as her tongue would then hit one of the clones, it would actually retract back, surprising her, just as she would release a giant wave of water from her mouth. How is that possible, said Tokuyami. The wave of water then blows away the clones and completely just drowns them, as Suyu is able to close her mouth, and she'd be tired but happy, because even though it made no sense, she used the water quirk in it. That's kind of amazing, bro. They then hear Recover Girl say that they passed. Meanwhile, we find Koda, who'll be clapping his hands together, gathering chakra, and hoping for something to happen. And this is when President Mike would then scream and make him tip forward. His hands then slam to the ground as a giant poof would then blind him and Jiro, and as the smoke would then clear, it would then show a giant white eagle, twice their size. It would be like a behemoth, and the both of them are surprised. Attack, said Koda, and the eagle would then nod and fly into the sky towards President Mike, who would see and become surprised, but he would then scream and is slightly stunted, only to then get a headache when another sound wave would then come from Jiro, which massively affects him, making him fall over, and he starts to see things twist and turn. Man, we gotta get trained before these little brats overtake us, he thought. All over, all of them would gain new abilities and advance in some way or another. Kirishima hardens to the point where he makes blades so sharp that they could rip through stone from any part of his body. Sato could now utilize and stabilize his strength output, giving him so much strength that he could easily punch through steel, and he didn't even need candy anymore, but he did like eat it and sweets and stuff like that. He would just get a power up. Kaminari would awaken, being able to create a lightning dragon. While it took a lot of power though, he wouldn't get a headache this time. His chakra now is more balanced, so his brain doesn't get fried at all. He just gets stamina loss like everybody else. Mina would make acid-like clones that attacked her enemies on command, while Aoyama could now no longer feel any pain from firing his laser, and he could also release them from his mouth. Uraka could now create an almighty push and pull in people, and her physical strength doesn't rise though. I'm not gonna make it like I did with the edit quirks thing. She just has pull and push. She's exactly the same, but she can also still make things light, but she does not feel like throwing up. They have no side effects anymore. They just have stamina loss, and like they get tired from using too much chakra and stuff like that, but their chakra is balanced, so they don't have those things anymore. Ojiro, who by far honestly has the most useless quirk in 1A, no offense to him, but it's not nothing compared to someone who can literally like detonate nitroglycerin. He could now extend, grow, and decrease his tail in size for a swifter attack, so now he's like strong as hell. Shoji with the clap can make pseudo arms come out from underground as long as there are people within 20 yards of him, and he can now also extend his legs much farther to attack. Todoroki made a giant fireball and made more of those ice mirrors, which Aizawa couldn't cancel. He could only weaken them, showing that his quirk had more limitations when fully fighting against chakra, not just like quirks. Sero's tape could now come from the palm of his hands. Aside from being sticky though, they could now also cut through things and were like super sharp. Luckily, he could choose how to use it in different types, and from like, you know, when the sharp part begins and the soft part, you know, ends, or where the soft part begins and the sharp part, yeah. So he wouldn't cut himself if he's like trying to cut someone and he throws down. You get what I'm trying to say. Minetta's sticky balls will not be controlled telekinetically. I know I'm making this a bit OP, but as long as he keeps his hands clenched, they can like, you know, move around however he wants. It does take a lot of mental, strain, but he can do it pretty well. And they also let off a sludge-like substance, purple, of course. And if you if it sticks to you and you fall onto something or something, and you like touching someone else, you might just stick to them. It's super adhesive, but it's only malleable when Minetta touched it. It wasn't sticking to him, and he could just reform it and things like that. And Hagakure, by unlocking part of her full potential, could now make herself visible, which was amazing to see because, surprisingly not, in MHA, she's cute as hell, revealed to have white hair and blue eyes, but she was also naked, so she had to hide and instinctively made her herself be covered with light, my bad. And while Ojiro and Snipe were already looking away by using this light, she found that she could release a wave of like light that could blow away Snipe. And Momo no longer needed to eat things just to make things. She can convert chakra for an object, and she instinctively created a blaster which released a beam of chakra. Essentially speaking, she used the Ashura path, but not as strong. And Ida could now go reciprocal burst with ease, like legit ease. It wasn't even as high as move anymore. He could do it easily, and he could use it with so much force and power. And as an added benefit, he could also grow engines from his arms and some from his back just to propel himself forward. And he could retract those, but he can't retract the ones in his legs. So, he could also punch harder and kick harder, and he was not back to being the fastest, well, faster than Bakugo, but he's the second fastest behind Izuku. As they all regathered in the monitor room, all the girls in Mineta would be freaking out about how cute Hakure was, and she'd be wearing her gym uniform, by the way, now. And they'd be hugging her, like touching her hair, and she would say, "Guys, stop, it feels weird to know you guys can actually see me now." She'd be more embarrassed, which made Izuku laugh, saying, "Well, it's gonna take some getting used to, but it's good to see you for the first time." "Yeah, hi guys." Mineta, "Go away," she'd say. She releases a flash of light from her hand, which blinds him and completely burns his eyes, and he'd be in pain, while Kaminari says, "Dude, you were kind of asking for that one." By the way, Class 1B also had a similar change in their abilities and in themselves, and this happens when they get tested the next day, and you can feel free to speculate how you think they will change, but for those like Kendo, it's pretty obvious how she will change. She kind of resembles the Choji's clan, so you get what's going over there. But I will end this here. Welcome to the end of the video, my loyal subjects. I hope you have enjoyed. Tell me down in the comments what you think about this part, and how do you think I should move forward in the next part. I already finished that part, but like added some stuff that can be contributed to the world, like new inventions, supported by chakra, all that stuff. Just go crazy, because I'm gonna add a lot of stuff in here as much as I can. Again, this story isn't really about the villains, it's about how the world changes. Like I just want to have fun with it, like I did with the edit quirks one. So yeah, feel free to go crazy down in the comment section. I love y'all. I'm gonna come back later with the Luffy series again, so don't worry. All right, I'm gone.
To give me your loyalty, 'cause I'm taking the world, you'll see. They'll be calling